Have you ever felt stuck knowing deep down you want to grow, yet holding back? In this video I'm gonna explain why feeling your emotions is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Hello, my name is Elke. I've been studying the law of assumption, law of attraction, quantum physics, esoteric principles, you name it, for the past 5 years. I'm really passionate about these topics, and today felt like today to finally share some of my knowledge. Yay, go me! 2025 is gonna be your year, so you better listen to what I have to say. I wrote something down in my notes app. By the way, look at this cute sunny angel. It's a fawn. It's giving Bambi. I love it. Okay, so I got a spiritual download yesterday and I wrote it down so I could talk about this in this video. Hear me out. Very often we avoid conflicting situations not because we are afraid of the situation itself, but because we are so afraid of the feeling that comes with it. We are so afraid of feeling out of control, of not being able to predict what is next, that we choose to stay in the same place. This is what we call comfort zone. This is all coming from ego. Your ego is trying to keep you safe. That is also why we have to approach it with compassion. Your ego is not your enemy. It just likes to seek out experiences it has experienced before, so that it is predictable to figure out what is going to happen next. This goes for both positive and negative experiences. We just have to learn how to work with it instead of letting it control us and our reality. So, let me elaborate on this. I myself am a very, very sensitive person. I'm highly sensitive, I'm an empath, and I always thought, oh, I hate being this sensitive, like I don't want to cry about everything, I don't want to feel all of these things, until I discovered recently that it is actually one of my biggest superpowers. Now, what do I mean by that? I've learned about the fact that you can transmute energy. Feeling is energy, and as soon as you feel something really deeply, you can turn it into something really powerful. And I am very experienced in this, and I want to learn people how to do this too, to transform their life and to not be afraid of feeling things, because there is nothing to be afraid of. Honestly, feeling is the secret to anything, to achieving things, to transforming things, anything. So, keep watching if you want to learn how to do it. So why do we stay in our comfort zones? The reason why is deeply rooted in our ego. The ego is part of us that's designed to keep us safe, which is a good thing sometimes. It doesn't distinguish between what's truly good for us and what's simply predictable. If it is familiar, the ego immediately assumes it is safe. It's the safest option, it's predictable, it knows what's going to happen, so you go that way. Even if it's an unhealthy habit, a toxic relationship, or a limiting belief. Why? Because the ego's comfort zone is built on past experiences. The ego is created in the first 5 years of your life, which is why it is essential to treat children well. Because nowadays you hear a lot of people talking about healing their inner child simply because they still carry a lot of limiting beliefs, unhealthy habits, toxic traits, toxic relationships from their past into their daily life. Which is also why a lot of people keep encountering the same people in different bodies. It's really the way it is, unfortunately. Feeling is the key to transmuting energy. Now, let's say you are stuck in a toxic relationship and you're so afraid of stepping out of it, because even if it's really toxic, there is a lot of emotional turbulence going on, it's still your comfort zone, because it's all that you know. Maybe it's all you've ever known. And how to get out of it is by feeling. But then you have to confront the situation. You have to leave a person. It's you are afraid of the feeling that comes with it, because oh my god, it is so extremely painful to leave a person or a situation behind, even if you know deep down it is for the better. But when I tell you, if you step out of your comfort zone, if you leave the situation, if you leave the toxic habit behind, if you just do anything to step out of your comfort zone to feel the feeling, you are gonna level up your life. And this is extremely powerful. Now let me elaborate on this. For example, when I had my first heartbreak, oh, I was so cute back then. I was 15 and it felt so uncomfortable. I was like, oh my god, why does this happen to me? Even though it was a very familiar experience for me at the time because of my childhood, I was like, oh my god, and I was feeling so sad and so unmotivated until one day I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use all of this energy to just become an influencer and go viral. And just my thought process back then was like, oh my god, he's gonna see me everywhere, you know. It was mainly coming from ego, but still, like, when I started making videos back then, like, it was honestly the most superficial stupid thing ever. But I started creating duets on Musical.ly with Lauren Beach. Still love her, she's a queen. And for some reason they went viral, but like crazy viral. Like, I still know some people who have millions of followers because they copied the concept and just got even more famous than me back then. Like, it was crazy. And I got just hundreds of thousands of views and people were making fan pages of me, and at the time I was like, that's crazy. And now I look back at it and I'm like, girl, you transmuted that heartbreak energy into something completely different, and look what happened. Like, honestly, at some point I was done with it, because with fame, I don't know another word for it, to be honest, but like with fame also comes a lot of negativity, and I was like, I'm too anxious to have all of this attention on me, so I stopped being famous. I want to make clear, I do not claim I was famous. It's just I went viral and people still know me from back then, so another example, when I was again very much heartbroken by another man, and I was so sad, and at the time I was like, I need a new hobby, so I started baking. And I never really baked before. Like, I did some baking with my mom when I was little, but I didn't remember anything of it, to be honest. And I started doing it, and then I discovered I actually am good at it. And guess what? Now I make money by baking for a company. These are just small examples. I did it with so many more things, but like, excuse me, like, these are 2 examples of how I was feeling so sad and still remaining in a comfort zone. And when I stepped out of it and just allowed myself to feel things, I even started making money from it. That's crazy. I transmuted heartbreak energy, painful energy into... Okay, so what happens when you do not allow yourself to feel your feelings? I wrote some things down and I'm gonna read it to you. Every emotion you experience carries energy, which is a vibration. When you suppress uncomfortable feelings, because even if you do not feel your feelings, the feelings are still there, you just don't feel them, which is why they get suppressed. When you suppress uncomfortable feelings like fear, anger, or sadness, that energy does not disappear. It gets stored in your body and subconscious mind. It creates blocks that limit your ability to manifest and grow. And this also applies to dopamine levels, just your overall health in general. Like, your body stores everything. Everything. I read a book once, I forgot what it's called. Maybe I have it here. I'm gonna look. It's called My Body Keeps Your Secrets. It's not necessarily related to this, but still, it's very much about your body stores everything. Trauma, emotions, you name it. So to transmute that energy, to turn fear into courage, pain into healing, or stagnation into momentum, you must allow yourself to feel it fully. When you let yourself feel without judgment or resistance, something powerful happens. You acknowledge the energy for what it is, and in doing so, you give it permission to flow. Feelings are like waves. They rise, peak, and eventually fall. When you suppress them, you trap them in your system, but when you feel them, you release them into the collective. This process transforms the energy, clearing space for new possibilities to enter your life. But here's where most people get stuck. Ego resists this process because it does not want you to feel out of control. It fears that if you allow yourself to feel deeply, you will get lost in the emotion. This is why compassion is so important when working with the ego. Instead of fighting it, acknowledge it. It's just like a little child. Do not be mad. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge its fears. Understand that your ego is trying to protect you in the only way it knows how. You can tell your ego, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I'm ready to grow now." By doing this, you create a partnership with your ego instead of a battle. You are reassured that stepping into the unknown doesn't mean losing control, it means gaining freedom. This process of feeling and releasing is not just about emotional healing, it is about rewiring your subconscious mind. Manifestation happens on a subconscious level where your energy and beliefs shape your outer reality. When you process and release old emotional energy, you create a clean slate for new beliefs, experiences, and opportunities to take root. Which is beautiful. So my camera died, and this is actually the most important motivational part. And honestly, respectfully, I think my camera just couldn't handle it. And I'm also gonna hold your hand while I say this, but here's the truth. No one is gonna save you except for you. Yes, you are the only person in your reality capable of making the changes, of evolving to the next version of you. No one can do this for you. So stop victimizing yourself, stop blaming other people, stop blaming external circumstances. And I know this can be hard, and we are all guilty of this. I am guilty of this. Please, yes, I am. But if you want to change, you have to make the decision, and most importantly, you have to make the commitment to change. You have to take the steps necessary to change, and I don't care what it is. Like, even if you don't know where to start, you have your amazing intuition, which is linked to your higher self, which will always guide you towards being the best version of you. And if you cannot hear it right now, don't worry, because it's still there. You just have to unclog your mind, because that's usually what happens to us. We are so caught up in this society, and we are so prone to anxiety. And sometimes we just cannot access our intuition anymore, and that can feel really scary, but it's still there. And it's honestly fairly easy to reconnect to it again. Just go out in nature for a nice little walk, and if you cannot do that, just meditate. Just sit with your thoughts. Allow your thoughts to pass by. See them as clouds. Just allow them to pass. And then eventually, with repetition, your mind will become clear again. And then it's the time for you to take the steps necessary to change. Now, what if you decide to not commit to change? Well, then reality is just gonna stay very much the same like it is right now. And if that's what you want, congratulations. But unfortunately, for some people, change is really necessary. And if you do not make the commitment to change, you're gonna attract the same people over and over and over again. You're gonna find yourself in the same environments over and over and over again, because it's just all that your ego is familiar with. So do not be surprised if you find yourself in the same environments, situations, surrounded with the same people over and over again. So just please give yourself the permission to change. Love yourself enough to say, hey, it's time for change. I deserve better than this. I deserve to build the life of my dreams. And even if you don't know what that looks like, go on a self-discovery journey and find out what it looks like. Just visualize yourself as the most powerful, amazing version of yourself, and then start showing up as that person. And I am telling you, I promise you, your life will start changing. You will become the person that you saw, that you imagined in your head eventually, by repetition and commitment. Okay, now I will proceed on my camera. So, I will make some more videos on how to rewire your subconscious mind, because it's honestly, it's easy, but it's a lot, and there's a lot you have to take into consideration, and it's especially very different for each individual person, because everyone has their own set in stone set of beliefs, everyone has their own regulated or dysregulated nervous system, which we also have to take into account. But yeah, this was just a video to mostly inform people about how important it is to feel your feelings, because when you do that, you become so powerful. So excited to continue this YouTube journey. Oh my god, this gave me so much energy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna make more videos, so subscribe, like, oh my god.